What's up, my peoples? This is Rob with Wise Life, giving all praise, honor, and esteem to the Most High, YaHuWaH. All right, so today's video, I'm gonna keep it as short and sweet as I can, but I want to be thorough. All right, made some notes for myself. Y'all know that's what I do. But I'm gonna be as authentic as I always am too. All right. I was gonna put my camera on my dash, but the sun is shining pretty nice, and it ain't no foliage on the trees yet to get shade. So I don't want my phone to overheat and mess the video up. So I got it right there in front of the behind the steering wheel, I guess, from y'all's angle. So it just I'm gonna do it like that. But today's video is entitled "Stolen Identity." Y'all can see that, and y'all will be able to see what I mean here shortly. The Most High, whose name is YaHuWaH, and the God of Christianity are two different entities. All right, they are not the same in my eyes anymore. My viewpoint of the Old Testament and the New Testament, and the two mighty ones that are portrayed in those books, I don't believe are the same. I don't think like that no more. All right, YaHuWaH is the Almighty, and He has chosen Israel as His people. All right, and I believe the Old Testament is about about YaHuWaH raising up a people, choosing them, all right, fulfilling promises in them, and then punishing them when they fell away, and then there coming redemption. That's what I believe the Old Testament's about. All right, and I mean, anybody that has a different viewpoint of that, that's fine. The Most High made us all different and singular for a reason. All right, some of us is going to try to carry the truth, and some of us ain't. Some of us are out here with other agendas. All right, and that's not what I just want the truth. All right, the Christian God, though, He has many different names. All right, and He has chosen the elect saints for His Son, for a salvific Son. That's what the New Testament says. The New Testament, that's what it, to me, that's what it says. All right, and you can put whatever name on that salvific Son and put whatever color on it. All right. So the two different entities here, you got YaHuWaH's firstborn Son, then you got God's only begotten Son. All right. Well, in this video, I want to address two things. All right, where I stand on that, and I want to address Edwin. All right. I saw a few videos or some clips and some pieces of a few videos. I watched one video more than once though, and that's the video I'm gonna be addressing today. But Edwin, now let me say this, man. All right, we tried to build a connection. All right, I reached out to y'all and tried to build a connection with y'all. I reached out to many ministries who were calling on the names of YaHuWaH and Yahushua. All right, when I was in the Mashiach, I tried to make connection with you guys, and I tried to get us all linked up, and because the Father wants unity. All right, you can't dispute that. But all right, everybody has their own agenda and their own thought process on how things should go, except for just doing it the way the words say do it. All right, and one of the main reasons why it didn't work out, I feel like, my opinion, is because I wasn't supposed to be in that anyway. All right, I wasn't supposed to be following a salvific Son, as I'm starting to learn, because the Father wants me to follow Him directly, and the Father gave us access to Him directly. All right, without a salvific Son. All right, I don't think there's no disputing that. All right, so where I stand, you know what I'm saying? I've said it in several videos up now, but I'll say it again. All right, I'm not a Hebrew Israelite. I'm not a Christian. I'm not a Jew or Judaism, or however you say that. I'm not Jehovah's Witness. I'm not a Scientologist. I'm not an atheist. I'm none of that stuff. All the religions can kiss my pumas. I'm just me trying to seek the Most High YaHuWaH and follow Him in all truth, like the Word tells us to do. His Word is truth. His truth is Torah. All right. Let me see where I'm at. All right. So, most people, they see YaHuWaH in the way they want to see him. They reverence him the way they want to reverence him. Their idea of respecting him, loving him, and reverencing in him is religious. All right, they want to keep this religious mentality about the Most High, and he don't want that. He wants us all to have an individual relationship with him, and as we have our individual relationships with him, he also wants us to conjoin together, all right, as in unison, because he calls all of us Israel. He calls the people Israel. Israel is not just one person. And so that's when we come back to a salvific son. All eyes are supposed to be on the salvific son in Christianity. All right. All eyes are supposed to be on the salvific son in Catholicism. But YaHuWaH says all eyes should be on him. That's why I say the Old Testament and the New Testament is oil and water. It's bleach and ammonia. My opinion, the Christian Bible's men translators have made Jesus / whatever else you want to call him, all right, among all those names, into God's only begotten son. All right. But on the contrary, upon further examination, all right, the truth is that YaHuWah's firstborn, from his own words, is Israel, according to the Hebrew text. So which is it? Who is YaHuWah's son? And now I suppose we're going to get those that come out to say he has multiple sons. But no, you're only supposed to believe on one to salvation. See, I want to look at, Edwin, you did a video, your part 4. I want to investigate that part 4 video. All right, now, listen, was very impressed that you know all them languages. Brother, that is some deep discipline and study right there. All right, to learn all those multiple languages. All right, very impressed that you have all those different Bible translations, all those different levels of information. All right, very impressed. Very impressed that you even stated to the people that have watched your video that there are multiple variants out there. And that is a piece of what I'm doing. That's a piece of what I'm doing. Putting out that there are multiple variants out there. But one thing you didn't state was when you did that video, you talked about Hebrews chapter 1. All right. The philosopher that wrote Hebrews chapter 1, because and whether it was Paul, they say the smart people say it wasn't Paul. All right. The scribes and the scholars and all them geniuses, them smart people, all right, them guys that so-called are way above my pay grade in knowledge, they said it wasn't Paul. All right. Now, I understand what you say and what you believe, but that's all under, it can be under investigation forever, I guess. It's opinion. All right. At this point, it's not fact. But what you failed to tell the people was that them verses that you investigated was not talking about no son of the Most High. All right, and when you go look at Hebrews chapter 1, that's not talking about, like it says in verses 1 through 4, when whoever wrote that is talking about Christ and how God made him so high above everything else. That is not what those verses that they discussed. It's not what they was talking about. All right, and that's what I want to talk about. Before we even go there, Edwin, I gotta say this, man. We wasn't even on the same page when I did believe in a Mashiach. So I'm trying to understand why you coming at us like this, sneak dissing like this. I mean, I think I got more content out about this than the other pages do. So it kind of looks like you going at me. I stopped following you when we had our fallout. Obviously, you didn't stop following me though. And I'm look, I ain't made this personal, and I'm asking you not to make it personal. I'm just sharing the facts here, and I'm trying to wake people up that we have been deceived. And you don't see it that way. That is fine. Make your content, all right? But stop making your content off of my content. Be your own creator. And I'm not disrespecting the Most High when I say that. I'm just using modern terminology. When we use a YouTube page, all right, YouTube calls it us creating. All right? You ain't got to use other people's content to create your own. Now, I get it. There are reaction videos out there that people do to other people's stuff. You know, they use fair use. I may even do that in the future. All right? But we all have our own mind, right? And I just don't understand the little slick shots you be taking at us and stuff like that, man. If you going to take those shots, just say my name. Just say, Rob, you with Hashatan. Just say, Rob, you got a devil in you, or whatever it is. You ain't got to take the slick side shots, man. I thought we was above all that. That's what I'm saying. When I stopped following you because I didn't want to see nothing, and then possibly get in my feelings and do a video about it. That's one of the reasons why I stopped following y'all. I wanted to stay on course. And now another reason why I think it was healthy for me to stop following y'all and stop following a whole bunch of other pages like that is because it allowed me to get out of my comfort zone and go look. The stuff that I'm sharing now, the information I'm sharing now, this is just the informational channel. I'm trying to get people to go look for them to possibly come out of their slumber. Because I do not believe we supposed to be calling on a salvific son. I think we supposed to be worshiping YaHuWaH directly. A salvific son, if you look at it, it goes against the first commandment. Thou shalt have no mighty ones before me. Well, heck, what do everybody do with Jesus / YaHuWaH? The last thing they say out of their mouth is in Jesus' name. Who they pray to? Look, let me get on through this because I don't want this to be a long video. And lastly, before I get into this, I don't want nobody to get me wrong. All right? I ain't trying to rock with no rabbis, like I said, no pastors, no Jehovah's Witness leaders, none of that stuff. All right? I just want the unadulterated truth of the word. And I'm using all these various translations to try to pry the truth out of these. I know that the Tanakh has a Judaistic slant to it. I know that the KJV has a Christian slant to it. I know that the Septuagint, all right, has a Christian slant to it. I know this, but all of them contain parts of truth. Now, the KJV is probably the most wicked of them all right? But it has some truth in there, and it has some good advice in there. All right. Now, let's see here. Oh, yeah, Edwin. All right. When you doing what you're doing, all right, I think the way I'm looking at it, you know why I get so passionate about it, man, is because our people have been kept down so long and treated so harshly. Now, I know that's part of the punishment, but YaHuWaH gonna pay back the people who treated us this way because they overdid it. They always overdo it. All right, and YaHuWaH always have to punish those that just treat us so horribly. But you keeping the idea of this salvific son going is keeping Israelites from waking all the way up, man. And that's just that I'm in opposition to what you talking about now. All right, and it just is what it is. I ain't gonna do no more videos on you, brother. I ain't gonna say your name out no more. But I wanted to be specific this time because this is what the Most High put in my mind and put on my heart. No, like I said, no shade, no disrespect. That's why I said your name. I didn't want to do this subliminally, like I feel like you've been doing to us. And like I feel like other ministries do from time to time. I said your name this time. I'm gonna go through what I want to go through, and then I'm moving on, man. I got 2 videos coming out after this that I'm gonna do what I'm doing. I'm sharing information. I'm gonna just keep moving after that. Whatever the Most High point me to. But all right, so let's get into it. I want to talk about when you mention Hebrews 1. I want to see if those verses that are mentioned in there, if they go back to talking about the prophecies of a Messiah, all right, or if they're talking about people in history, in biblical history, that already have come and gone, or already have already have existed and done their thing. All right, so let's go read Hebrews 1. I got my KJV here. Hebrews 1. All right, I'm gonna read all 14 verses, and then I'm gonna go into my comparison, my investigation. All right, and it reads, God, who at sundry times in divers manners spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets, hath in these last days spoken unto us by his Son, whom he hath appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the worlds. 3. Who being the brightness of his glory, and the express image of his person, and upholding all things by the word of his power, when he had by himself purged our sins, sat down on the right hand of majesty on high. Being made so much better than the angels, or messengers, as he hath by inheritance obtained a more excellent name than they. For unto which of the messengers said he at any time, Thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee, and again I will be to him a father, and he shall be to me a son. 6. And again, when he bringeth in the first begotten into the world, or firstborn into the world, he said, And let all the angels of God worship him. And of the angels he said, Who maketh his angels spirits, and his ministers a flame of fire? But unto the Son he said, Thy throne, O God, is forever and ever. A scepter of righteousness is the scepter of thy kingdom. Thou hast loved righteousness and hated iniquity. Therefore God, even thy God, hath anointed thee with the oil of gladness above thy fellows. And thou, 10, and thou, Lord, and thou, well, let me see. It's all caps. And thou, YaHuWaH, in the beginning hast laid the foundation of the earth, and the heavens are the works of thine hands. And that's pretty clear right there, 10, 11, and 12. But anyway, they shall perish, but thou remainest, and they all shall wax old as doth a garment, and as a vesture shalt thou fold them up, and they shall be changed, but thou art the same, and thy years shall not fail. Verse 13, but to which of the angels, which of the messengers, said he at any time, Sit on my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool? Are they not all ministering spirits sent forth to minister for them who shall be heirs of salvation? All right, so that's me going through Hebrews. All right, we know that I'm going to go through all those verses that were mentioned right there in the Tanakh, because I want to do the comparison. All right, I want to do the comparison. All right, so we're going to start with verse 5. In verse 5, all right, you get verse 5 from Psalms chapter 2 and from 2 Samuel 7 and 14. So let's go to Psalms chapter 2 real quick. And like I said, I'm using my Tanakh for this. Psalms chapter 2, all right, and we're going to start at verse, we're going to start at verse 7. Let me tell of the decree. YaHuWaH said to me, You are my son, I have fathered you this day. Ask it of me, and I will make the nations your domain, your estate the limits of the earth. You can smash them with an iron mace, shatter them like potter's ware. So now, O kings, be prudent, accept discipline, you rulers of the earth. Serve YaHuWaH in awe, tremble with fright, pay homage in good faith, lest he be angered, and your way be doomed in the mere flash of his anger. Happy are all who take refuge in him. All right, so Psalm 2 right here is talking about David. All right. when I mean, it's a psalm of David. This particular psalm is a psalm of David. All psalms weren't written by David. I don't know if everybody knew that, but all psalms wasn't written by David. I knew Edwin. I know you knew that. You know what I'm saying? But maybe everybody else didn't know that. Well, some other people didn't know that. So, but this psalm right here is talking about David. This is not talking about YaHuWaH. This is not talking about Jesus. This is not talking about Yeshua. This is not talking about YaHuWaH. This is talking about David. All right. So that scratches the first one out. So now you got, even if you prove one of them wrong, you got some skepticism now. All right. But let's go to the other one. All right. When it says let's go to Second Samuel. My bad. 2 Samuel. All right. 2 Samuel 7. Uh, 2 Samuel 7 and 14. All right. It says, all right, I'm gonna start at 12. Now, let's see. Where's 11 at? Nope. I'm gonna start at 12. It says, when your days are done and you lie with your fathers, I will raise up your offspring after you, one of your own issue, and I will establish his kingship. He shall build a house for my name, and I will establish his throne forever. I will be a father to him, and he shall be a son to me. When he does wrong, I will chastise him with the rod of men and with the affliction of mortals. Now, if that's about Jesus slash YaHuWaH, that's a prediction that king is going to do wrong. But they say that the salvific son was perfect. All right? Hey, look at it for yourself. Go look. All right, so let's go to verse 6 now. Verse 6 comes from Deuteronomy 32:43. Now, this is what you was talking about in that video, Brother Edwin. You was talking about Deuteronomy 32, and you took us through all them different variants, and I thought it was awesome that you took us through all them different variants, because it was kind of helped me prove my point. You know, that we got to start looking at this stuff now and piecing it together, because all these different books have their own agenda. All right. So we got to look for what YaHuWaH is saying in all this, in all these different variants. All right. So let's see. Deuteronomy 32 and verse 43. There it is right there. O nations, acclaim his people, for he'll avenge the blood of his servants, wreak vengeance on his foes, and cleanse the land of his people. There's nothing about a salvific son there. That's talking about Israel. And you said that in your video. All right. And what you asked, that question you asked about what the rabbi wrote in there in his little commentary, I don't mess with that stuff, because it can confuse you and it can take you off track. Just like the pseudepigrapha can. All right. Just like all those other books that have been proven to be wrong. We got modern day rabbis and modern day pastors and modern day evangelists that can do the same thing. I'm proving YaHuWaH's word out, because it says in his word that everything got to go through the fire. And that's what we got to do. Everything got to go through the fire. And the salvific son just ain't standing up in this fire. All right. So verse 7 is about Psalm 104. Let's go to Psalm 104. All right. Psalm 104, verse 4 says, he makes the winds his messengers, fiery flames his servants. What's that got to do with a salvific son? All right, if you read the whole Psalm 104, it's praising YaHuWaH, it's describing YaHuWaH, it's giving characteristics of YaHuWaH. Has nothing to do with a salvific son in there. Verse 8, it comes from Psalm 45. Let's go look at that. Psalm 45 All right. I'm going to start at verse 4. It says, gird your sword upon your thigh, O hero, in your splendor and glory. In your glory win success. Ride on in the cause of truth and meekness and right, and let your right hand lead you to awesome deeds. Your arrows sharpen, pierce the breast of the king's enemies. Peoples fall at your feet. Your divine throne is everlasting. Your royal scepter is a scepter of equity. You love righteousness and hate wickedness. Rightly has the mighty one, your mighty one, chosen to anoint you with oil of gladness all over your peers. Now, it stops right there. All right, when you're doing these searches, it stops at those verses. But if you keep reading, you can understand who it's talking about. Verse 9. All your robes are fragrant with myrrh and aloes and cassia. From envied palaces, lutes entertain you. 10. Royal princesses are your favorites. Who married royalty? Which king of Israel married royal daughters of other nations and stuff? Solomon. So who's this verse talking about? Solomon. The consort stands at your right hand, decked in gold of Ophir. All right, I'm going to just stop right there. This is talking about Solomon. This is not talking about a salvific son, future prophesied man that's going to save the world of their sins. This is not what that's talking about. What Hebrews 1 said, this is not what any of those are talking about. It's taking the verses out of context. But there's more. Let's keep going. Verse 9 comes from Isaiah 61. Let's go to Isaiah 61. And this is probably the easiest one to figure out right here. Isaiah 61, I'm going to read verses 1 through 3. It says, the Ruach of the Master YaHuWaH is upon me, because YaHuWaH has anointed me. He has sent me as a herald of joy to the humble, to bind up the wounded of heart, to proclaim release to the captives, liberation to the imprisoned, to proclaim the year of YaHuWaH's favor, and a day of vindication of our mighty one, to comfort all who mourn, to provide for the mourners of Zion, to give them a turban instead of ashes, the festive ointment instead of mourning, a garment of splendor instead of a drooping spirit, Ruach. They shall be called terebinths of victory, planted by YaHuWaH for his esteem or splendor or glory. So, if this is Isaiah talking, then who is anointed? The Ruach of the Master YaHuWaH is upon me. This is Isaiah. It's Isaiah. It's not talking about a prophesied Messiah or a salvific son. This is Isaiah. Isaiah was the anointed mouthpiece of YaHuWaH in his time. All right. Let's see, where are we at? We toward the end of this. All right. Verse 10 through 12 comes from Psalm 102. So let's go back to the Psalms. And that's where they try to get a lot of these, they try to make a lot of these Psalms into prophecies when they really ain't prophecies. A lot of the time it just be whoever's writing that psalm, whether it be David or whoever else, just worshiping YaHuWaH. It ain't nothing being prophesied there. Or they just singing, or they just sad or happy or whatever the psalm is about. All right? Encouraging themselves or whatever it may be. All right? All right, so verses 10 through 12, like I said, comes from Psalms 102. All right, and we're going to read verses 25 through 27. It says, I say, O my God, O my mighty one, do not take me away in the midst of my days. You whose years go on for generations on end. Of old you established the earth. The heavens are the work of your hands. They shall perish, but you shall endure. They shall all wear out like a garment. You change them like clothing, and they pass away. All right, so this is supposed to be prophetic because it was in Hebrews 1. I mean, they made it tied to Yahushua/Yeshua/Jesus, right? But if you go up and read, let's start at verse 13. All right? It says, but you, O YaHuWaH, are enthroned forever. Now, whoa, stop gap. This whole thing is fixing to talk about YaHuWaH. All right, and that's where we come. That's where we get it wrong at, when we just pull 2 or 3 verses out of a script. We got to read before it and after it to make sure that the thought that we get is the accurate thought. We can't just see those 3 verses and that's the thought that, whatever the first thought is, that's what we're going with. We got to get a context to these things. All right? And this is for those who are seeking. For those of y'all that ain't seeking, for those of y'all that know more than me, and for those of y'all that I'm a heretic and you discredit me now and all that stuff, that's fine. That's your opinion. This ain't for you. This is for the ones who seek and who want to be free of the idolatry. All right? Let's read. Let's keep reading. But you, O YaHuWaH, are enthroned forever. Your fame endures throughout the ages. You will surely arise and take pity on Zion, for it is time to be gracious to her. The appointed time has come. Your servants take delight in its stones and cherish its dust. The nations will fear the name of YaHuWaH, all the kings of the earth, your glory. For YaHuWaH has built Zion. He has appeared in all his glory. He has turned to the prayer of the destitute and has not spurned their prayer. May this be written down for a coming generation. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. May this be written down for a coming generation, that people yet to be created may praise YaHuWaH. All right? Whoever wrote this, all right, was thinking in the future all the way up to 2022. And I praise YaHuWaH for those who he used to leave this record where we could trace it back and find him, where we could find the real him. Because the New Testament does not give us the real him. The New Testament has him has him as a hypocrite and as kind of weak and disoriented and double-minded. But the Old Testament, it says he don't change. The Old Testament, when Israel was supposed to go into the land of Canaan and claim it as their own, they were supposed to go in there with violence. They didn't go in there turning the other cheek. All right, verse 13, and then I'm going to get out of here. All right, verse 13. Verse 13 comes from Psalm 110. And when I found this out, I was just like, wow. All right. I was just like, wow. That's why you got to go look, man. All right. So Psalm 110, verse 13 comes from Psalm 110 and 1. And it says, of David, a psalm. YaHuWaH said to my Lord, it says the Lord, all caps, said to my Lord, lowercase letters, sit at my right hand while I make your enemies your footstool. Now, when I did in my research looking, I found out that David, on several different occasions, conquered people and said, I've made my enemy my footstool. David said that. All right? So since David said that, who is this about? But there's more. All right? Also in my research, I found out that the Lamed at the front of David's name in the Hebrew, all right, it means two or four. So the title should say, to David a psalm, or for David a psalm. David didn't write this psalm. David did not write this. So David was not writing to Jesus. So David was not writing to Yahushua. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful when I say that, because I don't want people getting emotional in this. I want people to be rational and logical. David didn't write this. Somebody else wrote this about David. Now, with that knowledge, let's read it again. For David, a psalm. YaHuWaH said to my Lord, sit at my right hand while I make your enemies your footstool. YaHuWaH said to David, sit at my right hand while I make your enemies your footstool. And then YaHuWaH would go on to help David conquer other people and defeat other nations that rose up against him. And now that verse, that chapter makes perfect sense. And finding that out, you know what I'm saying? It changes your perspective on everything else that I needed to look at. So, in conclusion, like I said, this Brother Edwin, no disrespect, sir. All right. I could have easily been offended and did a video yelling and shouting and wanting to debate and all this and all that, but that's not who I am, man. And we've had conversations. You know that's not who I am. You've actually talked to me before. We've had real, genuine conversations trying to connect. And it just didn't work out. And then when we didn't connect, on my side, I stopped following you so I wouldn't disrespect you going forward. But it seems like you still watch my videos. And when I go back and look, when I've gone back and looked at some of your stuff recently now, the shots you take, man, dang. Look, that's the Christian way, though. That's the Christian way. But at the end of the day, I'm not dealing with, I'm not gonna do no more of your videos. I'm going back to what I was doing, not watching your videos. You know what I'm saying? And so it won't be no disrespect. You do what you deem that you're supposed to be doing, and I'm gonna do the same thing, my brother. And I mean, just call it how you see it. To me, though, it don't matter. All right, I left my old belief alone. I no longer believe in a salvific son. I believe in YaHuWaH only. I believe that the Most High wants me to worship him, and he wants me to discipline myself to follow him. All the rest of that is wasted energy. And to me, my opinion, I ain't speaking for nobody else. In this video, I ain't speaking for nobody else. I'm speaking for Rob Robertson. I believe that the Father has me on a course to share the truth with his people. I was in error, but now I believe I'm on the all-righteous path. And the reason I was in error is because I wouldn't go look. I was afraid to go look. And I'm just being honest and genuine right now. The New Testament says, let anybody who don't believe in Jesus be accursed. In not so many words, I'm paraphrasing. Let anybody who denies Jesus be accursed. Or denies Yahushua. Or denies Yeshua. Or denies YaHuWaH. All the various different things that we've called him over a course of time. When I left Christianity, people said I was crazy. People said I was occultist. People said I was a devil. I had a devil in me. People said I had the spirit of Hasatan controlling me. And coming into studying the Hebrew, Hasatan ain't even what that whole understanding of Hasatan's even different. I'll just put it like this. YaHuWaH's in control of everything. He allows what he allows, and he does what he does, and he shuts down what he shuts down. He's in control of everything. When I left Christianity and came to this, when I left the world and came to Christianity, my old homeboys was like, oh, you soft now, you a punk, you weak, you a buster. Then when I left Christianity to come in this, you a Satanist. You in a cult. You a weirdo. Everybody took their hands off of me then. That's fine. It's been happening my whole life. And it only opens my eyes more that I have a different purpose than everybody else. Now that I've left the idea of a Mashiach, it's going to happen again. And I understand that, and I realize that, and I accept it. We all accountable for not only our actions, but what we believe. All I'm asking, if people watching my video, go look with your own eyes, spend your own time researching through all the different information that's out there. Edwin, I heard you say it in one of your videos that information is good. It is. All right. But the word says, in all thy getting, get an understanding, or I like to say overstanding. In all thy getting, get an overstanding of the information you're taking in. And that's what I did when it comes to a salvific son. So hopefully the person that this is supposed to reach will go do the work. Don't just take my word for it. I ain't got all the answers, and I'm going to say that until my breath is gone. I ain't got all the answers, but I'm going to keep looking for them. All right? Much love to y'all. Shalom, shalom.